to whom it may concern. It is with great pleasure that we recommend Bailey Roberts for the GSA for Safe Schools 2011 Student Scholarship. She embodies the characteristics of a leader who has worked to create positive change in her school and community. She has created change in both places, actually, and started doing so when she was in 7th grade.
We first met Bailey at a GSA meeting at Cherokee Middle School in Madison.
Woo!
Even at that early age, Bailey stood out to us. This might have been, in part, due to the fact that unlike some of her classmates, she wasn't biting anyone, sitting under the table, or climbing a nearby bookshelf. She just sat there politely, ready to learn and engage. And engage she did. That first year, Bailey participated in our pilot version of our Bystanders into Allies program, where she helped create, tape, and edit short skits that addressed bullying.
Since that time, Bailey has been a GSAFE regular. To be honest, we sometimes take for granted how reliable she is, because whenever she could, Bailey would say yes to opportunities to talk to her classmates and community about LGBTQ issues. Highlights include Bailey's heartfelt reading of And Tango Makes Three, the charming children's book about gay penguins who adopt, at a local Banned Books Week event. Once in high school, she joined our student planning team, where she led numerous workshops at statewide GSA conferences, which she also helped to plan.
She also represented GSAFE at a national gathering of GSA activists, where she led a workshop on HIV prevention. Most recently, she helped create SAGA, or Students Advocating for Gender Awareness, which is a series of workshops which she brought to both students and staff at a community service organization to which she belongs. Bailey brings her whole self with her wherever she goes and is a constant advocate for LGBTQ issues and people.
You should know that Bailey asked us whether or not she should apply for this scholarship. She asked because she wasn't sure that she had done enough or been a flashy enough leader. Our response was immediate. Of course she's done enough. Bailey is the definition of a reliable, committed, smart, and kind-hearted activist.
And additionally, Bailey is a joy to work with. She brings a lightheartedness, positive attitude, and a sense of fun and levity to her work. It's fun working with Bailey.
Plus, we get to geek out with her and talk about like Japanese manga and ElfQuest comics. As organizers, we can't ask for anything better. Sincerely, Brian J.
And Tim.
Hello. If you had asked me when I first joined the Gay Straight Alliance at Cherokee Middle School what I was doing there, I wouldn't have had an answer. I'll be totally honest with you. I only joined the GSA because my friend dragged me along to a meeting. Just goes to show a lot of good can come by accident. In GSA, we spent a lot of time learning, thanks to all the articles brought in by our wonderful advisor, Joe Jensen, as I discovered the struggles that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender youth face every day at school, and the many other injustices faced by the larger LGBT community, I came to realize how important the GSA was. At some point, between meeting Tim and Brian during Bystanders to Allies workshops and finally making it to high school, GSA had become more than a pastime. It was a passion. By the time I joined West High's GSA in 9th grade, I had already gone through the infamous coming out process after discovering I was bisexual, which had made me both a more committed activist and a more confident person. I knew who I was, and I was no longer afraid to be myself. Now, I'm a pretty reserved person, so I wouldn't say I was out and proud and loud about it, but I never kept my sexuality or my work with the GSA a secret. At the beginning of my freshman year, on the evening of my 15th birthday, I was lucky enough to represent GSA for Safe Schools in the banned books reading that they mentioned, where I read the children's book And Tango Makes Three, to a crowd that spent the majority of that night listening to excerpts from heavy-duty books like I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. It felt ridiculous then, and I still find it ridiculous, that any book, especially an innocent picture book about two penguins adopting a baby, should be banned. Other than giving me a strong conviction against censorship, This event also marked the start of my transition from learning about activism in middle school to being an activist in high school. In 10th grade, I had the joy and honor of becoming a student planner with the GSA for Safe Schools. From that point on, my life as an activist really took off, thanks in large part to Tim and Brian's support and mentorship. While I kept busy helping plan conferences, co-facilitating workshops, and fighting my way through literary analysis essays and math homework, Tim, Brian, and the other student planners changed my life. I grew as an activist, I grew as a person, I gained the best friends a person could ever ask for. My proudest moment as a GSAFE student planner was the trip I made to the GSA Network National Gathering in Rhode Island this past summer. For anyone familiar with GSAFE's Leadership Training Institute, an event designed to teach young activists and help them make connections across the state, I'll say that the National Gathering is a lot like a giant nationwide LTI. I learned about the work my peers are doing in California, Utah, Long Island, and Mississippi, among other states. I was very fortunate to meet brilliant young activists from those states and was able to form bonds that I hope will last me well past college. I am truly grateful to have had the opportunity to attend that fantastic event, and I will certainly use what I learned there to keep making it better in my community and my country. While I don't plan to major in LGBT studies or a similar field, and will instead focus on an education for a career as a foreign language interpreter, I will always continue the activism which has become such an important part of my life. It is no longer just a passion, it is a purpose. In marches, in my classrooms, at the polls, and in my dorm, I will make sure that the LGBT community is never demeaned or forgotten, and that its youth are supported so they too can have the opportunities with which I have been blessed. So here I am now, about to graduate, and somehow quite unexpectedly, about to take my first steps into adulthood. Although I have some apprehensions about the coming year and its many challenges, I know that I'll make it through. I know this because I will carry with me the skills and the strength I learned from high school and my work with GSAFE, and also because I will always feel the love and support of everyone who has helped me along the way, even if I will be physically separated from them. So I'll be in Minnesota. So now, I would like to thank those whose love and support has been most important in my life. First, my mother, who so easily accepted my sexuality and who has been a great source of encouragement and comfort and lots of hugs throughout my life. I would like to thank Tim and Brian for everything they've done over the past 6 years, because without them and without GSAFE, I would not be the person I am today. You have both been like a second family to me, and I could never express in words the extent of my gratitude and love. I would also like to thank the teachers who joined me here tonight, Joe Jensen, who brought me to my first GSAFE conference and fostered my enthusiasm for activism. Amy Malig, who was an invaluable emotional support during my somewhat rocky middle school years. Ellen Pryor, West's GSA advisor, who gave me a safe place to go when things got tough at school. Mark Knepper, who saw me through as my English teacher from the first turbulent months of 9th grade until this last month before graduation, always pushing me to do my best, even when I wanted to do just enough to get by. Jennifer Mushka, who never begrudged me my random after-class questions about French. And Karen Hendrickson, who taught me more Japanese than I could have ever imagined and gave me tips on finding gay bars in Tokyo to boot. I want to thank my friends and fellow GSA members and student planners for being so awesome, and at least for most of them, so wonderfully queer. Finally, I want to thank every one of you who's here tonight for joining us in celebration and for all your contributions to our work. Thank you all again so much.